driven analysis, and I emphasize on cost optimization because they are a very important reason behind to take the decision of organization to engage for the big data area. So your question, how?
Okay, so maybe I should make a clarification. You know, you made two options. You said there was
No,
analysis.
please, can you speak closer because there are some interruption.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So you said there is analysis-driven requirements.
Yes.
Okay, and there is requirement-driven analysis. Now, where do you think we should take our decisions on big data on? Should it be on analysis-driven requirement or on requirement-driven analysis?
It should be a requirement-driven analysis.
Okay, now, but from the survey you did, you said decisions were being taken on analysis-driven. That means about 61%. So my question is, how do we...
requirements, yes.
So my question is, how do we change this, bring organizations within developing nations to become aware of the need to change the basis for this decision?
Sorry, I didn't well understand the question because, as I mentioned, this is 61% the need for analysis-driven requirement. I don't understand well your question.
Okay, Doctor, what we could do is that we will document that question.
Sorry, can you speak closer to the microphone?
What we will do, Dr. Rim, is we will articulate that question in an email and send it across to you so that you can kindly respond and send it back to us during the course of today.
Okay. He can send me now, and I do my best to respond to this question because I don't really understand what is his question, exact question. Thank you.
Okay. So do we have any other question in the house? You have a set question, okay? It's a general question, okay? So do you want to come up and ask so that she can also hear you? Can you start from the beginning? Please introduce yourself and where you work.
Hello. Okay, my name is Elizabeth Johnson from the Gambia.
Sorry, the sound is very low.
Okay, her question is more of a general question directed to the House, not to you.
Yes.
Okay. My concern is the questionnaires. Who are the focal persons that are sending the questionnaires? Because
I can't listen to the question.
No, I will echo the question to you. I'll repeat it to you.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, considering that the response from Africa is very low, I'm probably thinking that the questions are not directed to the right focal persons to respond. So if they can review the questionnaires, the persons they're sending them to, because I don't think we are receiving questions from study group 2. So if that can be done so that we can get a good response from Africa, I can see that the response is very low from the continent.
Okay, Mr. Simon, I don't know if you could help out here. So she's saying that the response to the questionnaires have been rather low because most people in Africa have not been getting the questionnaires. So the question is, who is the focal person who will distribute the questionnaires to relevant persons in Africa to get the appropriate response?
Yes, as I mentioned in my slides, the TSB circular number 120 was sent to all members in order to respond to these questions. And because the number of response is quite is not a very big number, so we give an additional time for developing countries and the survey is now available online, and members are more than welcome to respond to this questionnaire in order to enhance our responses and to prepare more this supplement, which is very important for our countries.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you want to ask a question or make a response? A response. Okay. Please introduce yourself.
Hello. Good morning. My name is Tatiana Kurako, and I serve as
We have a problem of the sound from Tatiana's side.
Okay, no, don't worry. Don't worry about this. She's actually making a response to a question that was asked earlier.
Yes, I would like to give a reply to the lady from Ghana.
Gambia.
From Gambia? Okay.
Gambia.
Sorry, from Gambia. About the questionnaires. Usually we publish them in the circulars, and circulars has a very wide distribution. Not speaking about that it is available for free on the website, it goes to administrations and everybody who is subscribed to receive the circulars. That's why we use them for wider distribution. Questionnaires, invitation to all workshops, important events like TSAG and the WTSA. Also, RIM was very pushing, so we posted both questionnaires on the website. At the Study Group 13 front page, you have a link that leads you to these questionnaires. So distribution was the wider we can do. Concerning the number of response, of course, we would like to receive more. In our circular letter, we said, please, if you know a certain number, entity, enterprise in your country, please share the questionnaire with them so we can get more answers, even from one country, but from different members of ITU from this country. Rim, I would like also to say to you that generally the number of responses almost of the same level. So if we receive 2417 replies, this is the average. The reply rate to the questionnaires of the hot topics, like doing something with tariffs, usually are higher, 40, 50 responses. But for yours one and the other technical ones, and study group 15 is very famous for their technical questionnaires, this is almost the same. However, we would encourage people also to do more. By the way, coming a little bit further, I will say that we plan to distribute another questionnaire, probably at the end of the day tomorrow. It is posted on the website, and this is about the bridge and standardization gap training that you will receive tomorrow from our distinguished chairman, Mr. Simon Bugaba. So the aim of the questionnaire, online questionnaire, will be to seek your feedback on where we can do better and what other topics you would like to see to be trained. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. So the takeout for that is let's take advantage of these questionnaires and fill them and submit them within timeline so that our voice can be heard adequately and we can contribute to the discussion on the relevant topics. So in the interest of time, we'll take just two more responses, or sorry, two more questions. Do you have any other question? Okay, so thank you once more, Dr. Reem, for such a stellar presentation. We're most grateful. Next, I would like to call on someone who is very special. As you're aware, Main One company, which I represent, has networks in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Ivory Coast, in Portugal, and a presence in Senegal. Now, what you might not be aware of is this, that our next speaker is the brains and the man behind most of the technical solutions that run across these various networks, including the Main One submarine cable. He has a vast experience in West African telecommunication operations and global interconnections. He also has over a decade's worth of experience in network, data centers, submarine cable, cloud infrastructure design, program management, and infrastructure design and implementation. And today, he's going to be talking to us on cloud computing and big data analytics. He is the head of technical solutions and managed networks at Main One. Please Let's give a warm welcome and a round of applause to Oluwaseyo Oshadami. Thank you. Please don't stop clapping until he gets here. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I will seek your permission to use my system because I'm here to talk about big data, cloud computing and big data. And I think some of our colleagues have done justice to this topic already, especially our colleague from MTN, that's Mr. I hope I pronounce it correctly, Otudo, yes. And also our colleague from Ghana and Dr. Reem, they just finished her presentation. To go straight into cloud computing and big data, I would like to focus more on the technology itself. The technology, because being from a service provider environment, I would say we are mostly the users of this technology in terms of real life scenarios and how we put it into use and offer it as services to our customers. And I would go deep into types of cloud computing and also use cases for big data as well, and sample cases in where they have been used and how important it is for us. So, and I'm sure in the course of my presentation, I will talk about some of the challenges that we face as service providers, and then we can open up this for discussions. While preparing this presentation, I thought I'll have a lot of time, so it's quite extensive. So what I will try to do is just to summarize so that I can save our time and then focus on the key things that I would like to talk about. I'm sure a lot of us know what cloud computing is. A lot of us already know what cloud computing is. For me, I just describe it as a pay-as-you-go service because it's on demand. You get to use it when you want, and then the cost of entry is quite low. So it affords a lot of opportunity and helps people to scale easily and also grow easily. But then, being that it's on demand, pay-as-you-go, makes it very easy, helps us lower operational costs, and also help us build efficiency within our system. It also has its own inherent challenges that we should talk about. And then we need to also look at why cloud computing has a low adoption in our market. Now, what are the drivers of cloud computing? So for me, there are a lot of drivers. People want to save costs. People want to use shared infrastructure. People want to roll out quickly. But I would like to talk about data gravity as one of the drivers for cloud computing. I'm sure most of us here know what the law of gravity is. So it applies to data. Data attracts data. So once you host your data in an infrastructure, let me use Google for example. If Google or maybe Facebook or AWS decides to host the infrastructure in Nigeria, I'm sure you know that it will attract other data. Other content players will also like to aggregate their services and then interconnect with Google to provide some of these services. So infrastructure cost reduction is another driver for cloud computing. And reason why I'm talking about some of this is because I think there needs to be a conscious effort to ensure that in our market, people adopt this technology. I'm just saying this from a service provider perspective. It is really, really low. The adoption level for cloud computing is low in our market. And we stand to
benefit a lot because even the time to market, because if you want to implement your infrastructure by yourself, you have to think about the total cost of ownership, how long it's going to take you to acquire this equipment, ship it in, go through the entire process, right? But adopting cloud computing will give us a lot of benefits. It will allow us to scale easily. We can even scale globally. And also the speed of deployment, it's quite fast, because all you just need to do is take your decision which provider you want to host your infrastructure, and then hosting it and rolling out services would be quite fast. And it will benefit us in terms of our economic growth, because then we'll be able to churn out new services quickly. I'll go straight to types of cloud computing, which we already know, the public, private, and hybrid. And I'll just try to talk about some of the pros and cons so we can envision it in our mind in terms of some of the challenges with some of these solutions. Now, for the public cloud, we all know it's a shared service where the provider owns the infrastructure and then creates a virtual instance where each customer will have their own dedicated, virtual environment. But for the private is mostly what we do today, where we host our infrastructure within our environment. We manage it. All the total cost of ownership is ours. We don't share the cost. And then it's quite expensive to operate a private cloud environment. Now, hybrid is a mixture of both. We know, somewhere in between. You can't say if it's 50-50 or 60-40, but once you have some of your workload in a private environment and you have some of the other workloads in the public environment, then you're operating a hybrid environment. But these are all flavors that we have available to us, but they also come with their own inherent challenges. Now, types of cloud computing focuses more on the I think I talked about it. Types of cloud services, the infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and also software as a service. So these are types of cloud services that are available today in the market. And just to give a brief view so that we can get a view of what it means. For infrastructure as a service, it's a shared responsibility between the service provider and the end user, because the service provider will take part of the responsibility, which is the networking, storage, the servers, and also the virtualization. But then the operating system, the middleware, runtime, the data, and also the application will be managed by the end users. I think infrastructure as a service is one of the services that has been, even though it's low, I will say in terms of adoption, it's high compared to the others in terms of platform or software as a service. And I mean, the reasons are not far-fetched. Most of the end users still want to be in control. So I think for now, they are comfortable with allowing the provider to manage the networking, storage, the servers, and the virtualization. But then from the operating system, middleware, the data, and the application layer, they would like to be in control and manage that themselves. But for platform as a service, the provider responsibility increases. So they help manage the system down to the runtime level, even the middleware and also the operating system. And the end users get to manage their data and also application. Software as a service, I know a lot of us use software as a service. I would give an example, O365, the software as a service. Most of us don't even know where it's hosted, but we just use the application. Some of us who use CRM tools like Zoho, CRM tools like Salesforce, all these are software as a service solutions. Now, they all come with their challenges. They have benefit, but definitely they all come with their inherent challenges. Now, for the public, it's difficult to add new services, and it's simple. Once you decide to go public, you have to choose one of the public cloud providers, maybe an AWS, a Google Cloud, or Alibaba. But then you will kind of be locked into the services that this public cloud provider offers. So say you have another provider who offer other services. It won't be easy for you to add new features if that provider where you're hosting your services don't offer those services. Yeah, privacy concern is still the main issue because of trust. Handing over your data to a third party is still a big issue. I mean, this is not just in our market, even globally. Privacy is a big issue. Now, for privates, like I earlier mentioned, it's expensive to procure and maintain. And then the evolution is quite slow. Most IT managers, maybe CTOs or CIOs, find it difficult to have those conversations every 5 years with the CFO or head of finance on the need to do equipment refresh, revamp the entire system, go buy new system, get new applications. It's a difficult conversation to have. So most times for users who adopt private cloud, these are some of the challenges that they have. And then if you decide to do hybrid, which is best of both worlds, because it gives you the ability to gain the benefit of private and also combine it with the benefit of public. But then another challenge with it is how scalable will that be for you as an enterprise organization, because the public cloud will always be ahead in terms of upgrades, software patches, and everything. And then how do you measure up with that? Once you've combined those two systems together. I'll not dwell so much in this, but multi-cloud is another interesting cloud computing, I'll say solution or platform, because what the users have discovered is they can actually share workload across multiple cloud providers. So that enables them to distribute their workload across different providers. Say maybe you have a customer in this market who want to host their database maybe in one cloud because they want to be compliant with the law. And then the other services that AWS offers that they would like to subscribe to, they would share some of those workloads and integrate both systems together, even with the addition of Microsoft Azure. Now, what this does is it gives these companies flexibility options that they can roll out services easily. But one of the main challenges with multi-cloud is integration. Integration is a big issue for us as a service provider, integrating those platforms together, and also the additional security challenges that you have to face, because the more interconnections you have, you need to look at the entire IT strategy in terms of how you manage your internal security. So what was the cloud market like in Nigeria? Like I said earlier, public sector cloud adoption is still very low, and I will not take it as a negative. I mean, we all know why. They are the government of our nation, and the data of the citizens are very, very important. So unless we have strong regulations, unless we have strong frameworks that ensures that the data are secured, I think public sector adoption will continue to be low. And also, there are also ways we can increase the adoption level through enacting laws like the data localization policy that we have now from NIDA, and also by enhancing our local capacity, because capacity is also an issue. And then the general anxiety that it's not far-fetched. I mean, it's everywhere. Safety, security of data is really stalling cloud growth. But the private sector have been embracing more of a physical colocation of their devices in data centers that have power, cooling, and all the infrastructures in place, where they manage, and maybe I'll still say private cloud, where they manage the entire system by themselves. And even if they decide to go public, they don't patronize I would call them indigenous cloud providers. They prefer to go offshore and host the applications of the public cloud providers. Just a brief view of what the revenue performance is in Nigeria. This survey was from Frost and Sullivan, which shows the growth of cloud in Nigeria between 2016 and 2019. At least as the last year, it shows that the revenue generated from cloud is about $116 million, which will continue to grow. And I think the infrastructure as a service is leading the pack, even though platform as a service also is growing. But the interesting thing to know about the survey is that 80% of this revenue went to the public cloud providers offshore. So I think it opens more conversation for us. If we are going to adopt this technology in this market, then we need to think about how we will ensure our policies and also our regulations keep this data local, and also keep this revenue within our markets as well. Well, cloud competency is available in Nigeria. We know that already. And yes, I forgot. Mayone won the Cloud Service Provider of the Year award in Africa. That was last year by Data Cloud. So I forgot to mention that before I started. So just letting us know that we have the competency in Africa. We can do it. I think we started cloud solutions or the platform less than 4 years ago. And I will tell you, it had inherent challenges, but we learned from it. And winning the award last year was very, very suited, you know. And it shows that if we get it right in this market, in our region, we will develop the competency required to increase the adoption level. I would like to just give us a case study of what we did for one of the public sectors in Nigeria. I think it's CAC, yes, the business registration platform. So just to give us a view of how important some of these technologies are. The business challenge was that we had, or they had, a strict timeline to the assessment by World Bank for the ease of doing business. And coming for the assessment, they know that their platform is unstable. They had several levels of application issues and also governance in terms of how they manage different providers providing the different set of applications that integrate into the entire solution. So apart from physical downtime of the servers, there's also frequent incidents on application issues, you know, and you know, one of the challenges with cloud is when you have many applications integrating together, it opens up the avenue for finger pointing, you know. So what we did was to provide them the infrastructure, and then we use our ITIL-based infrastructure management system for both the operating system level database and middleware to help them stabilize this platform. And I can tell you, we actually celebrated it in the company. We were very happy when they passed the World Bank assessment, and it helped Nigeria move its ranking in the ease of doing business. So this goes to show how important some of this technology are in terms of the growth of our economy or the growth of our country. I'll skip the next case study because of time. Now, I had this presentation just to give us a view of global enterprise cloud adoption. You can see that what the respondents of this survey, the survey was carried out by RightScale in 2019, that was just last year, and about 84% use a multi-cloud strategy. 69% adopt hybrid cloud. Now, these are the solutions that I mentioned had challenges integrating them, but we can see that the users prefer this because it gives them that flexibility, it gives them the ability to roll out different services, and also takes away that provider lock-in. Because one of the challenges we face in cloud is provider lock-in, especially on the data formats. Say you are hosting your infrastructure in AWS now, and you want to migrate your services to Microsoft Azure, for example. How easy is it for you to move your data from AWS to another platform, right? So these are challenges that we face in the industry. But we have tools. There are tools that can help you manage multi-cloud infrastructure across multiple public cloud environments. But then I think users would prefer having more flexibility and functionalities. Now, going into big data, I'm sure my colleagues, like I said earlier, they've done justice to big data already. We all know what big data is. For me, it's simple. It's just say any data that is above 1 TB is big. But then what is the analytics all about? And I think is how we treat this data, how we process it, because they're complex. And the traditional way of processing it will not be able to accommodate the volume. So we need different ways to do that. And big data has big opportunity for the world, big opportunity for our market as well. This insight was from International Data Corporation, and it says by 2020, unfortunately we're in 2020 already, so we should expect the revenue to grow to about $5.3 trillion. Now, that's for the third IT platform. So this is a combination of both big data, cloud, and mobile internet. And most of the growth in IT will come from this third IT platform, big data and cloud, and mobile internet. But now we're talking about big data and cloud computing. Now, how ready are we? How ready are we in our market to tap into this growth opportunity, which is about 90%? So it means if we are not ready, we would be left out. So we need to be ready, and some of the sources of big data we already know, media sources from the cloud, even from IoT devices, they generate tons of data, and all the images we upload on social media, all the likes on Twitter, YouTube. I'm sure some of us use YouTube or even have a Netflix account. Sometimes it's interesting when I log into my YouTube page and I see a video being recommended for me, maybe because I played, a similar video before. But now, to serve me better, they customized it for me so that I don't need to search, right? So it's fascinating. We all love it. But then processing this data also has big issues. This snapshot just gives us a view, what it looks like every 60 seconds on the internet. It tells us the tons of data that is being generated. People's activity is generating tons of data. Millions of emails are sent every minute. Thousands of hours of videos are being watched every single minute, right? Now, how do we process this data? These are people's information. So we call it the 5 V's. The volume, the velocity, the veracity, the value, and the variety. So this is how big data is being processed or analyzed today. And Dr. Reem did justice in her explanation, so I would not generate this data. The next question is,